Yo, on the left, you've got myself, the bitter former regional level athlete Andrew Hiller, and on the right, you've got Alexis Kowalski, my fiance. She is going to be completing 23.3 with me. If you follow her on Instagram, you may have followed to the point where you'll know that she's got some hip issues going on. She's got a labral tear in her hip. She has hip dysplasia, which is something that we found out that you kind of are born with. And it makes a lot of sense because she's had left side issues basically her entire life. And it's something where once you figure that out, a lot of things start to make sense. But with that, this season has been lost for her. She did not even think about doing the first two workouts because she was in quite a bit of pain. However, she saw this, she had a bit of FOMO, and we figured out how she'd be able to do this entire thing this morning. So I thought it'd be cool to kind of throw the entire deal together and show how maybe you can set this thing up if you're going through some issues, because the scaling options that we've seen on .com, I looked at the adaptive scaled workouts, and they're scaling out the freaking handstand push-ups and upside down wall walks with squats, which makes no sense. So we have Alexis, who cannot hinge all the way. She can't go to the floor with her snatches. So you can see that I have the jerk block set up to a height where she can basically be doing a high block snatch. She'll be powering them. You'll be able to see that she moves really well. Over on the left, you'll see that myself, I'm moving through that 95-pound barbell with a technique that I picked up from following Kiefer Lamy, who works over at Camp Rhino in Vegas. Met him while I was doing the Zelos games, and I saw they put up this post where essentially you don't make hip contact. You just kind of pull the bar up like a glorified kettlebell swing, lock out the elbows, and the entire name of the game on the left side for myself. If you watched the Sevon podcast where I was doing it live in the street parking garage, that my shoulders gave out really bad on the handstand push-up. So how do I mitigate that? Well, one of those things is to utilize the Kiefer snatch. Pull yourself under, lock the elbows out, win 11-4 on that first set. No problem. Let's go. On the right, you got Alexis moving incredibly well, doing what she can at this point. That is 55 pounds on that bar. I believe we have her going 55, 65, 75 on the right. And this is her first workout, really since Wodapalooza. She really hasn't done anything because she's been beat up, as we talked about with the hip, and now a little bit of a shoulder thing going on, which we need to figure out. But it's cool, and she wanted to work out. Once you get that itch, you got to scratch it. So here we are, scratching the itch, moved incredibly well. Awesome. Proud of her. Cool to do this whole thing. She was sweating like crazy. Her face matched to the shirt when she was done. It was all good. On the left, you're going to see myself with the handy cam. I don't know what you want to call it. The hand cam where you can see the line. You can see my hands coming in to meet the standards of the wall walk with that 30-inch tape line. There was one rep in there where I really reached for it. So it's one of those where if you don't touch it, you freaking know. You can see your hands touch the line. I like these things where, if I touch, I touch. If I don't touch, I don't touch. And you know. It's kind of what I talk about a lot of times. If you're an athlete who's riding the line, you know you're riding the line. If you're an athlete who didn't hit the standard, you know you didn't hit the standard. So do it. And you'll also notice that Alexis was changing my weights. It's something that I'm so freaking big on with the CrossFit Open. It's one of the things that I kind of left out in the video I put up yesterday where I wouldn't sign up for the CrossFit Open because it's a little less open than you may think. These workouts where you have to have somebody switch your weights. You don't just need a judge if you're not doing it at an affiliate, or even if you are doing it at an affiliate, you also need someone to change the weights because let's say you don't have 2 or 3 people to now help you through your workout on that day. You've got to set up this entire freaking thing. It's a party of people, which by all means, it's cool. Community, yeah, I get it. But if you're one person trying to do the open workout and you want to get a score that matches everyone else's scores and you want to get a fair ranking worldwide, then they have an advantage if they have more people to utilize than you do. And I think that it's terrible. Just freaking give us an extra minute and make these windows, which is super ugly, I get it, 3.5-minute windows or 4-minute windows. Hey, we're going 4, 8, 12, 16. And this has been an issue I've had with the CrossFit world for forever. So for those of you who are looking at it and going, you can't say you don't have an issue with Boz. And I had an issue with Castro too on this one. I just never have understood why you make other people change your weights. Don't make any sense. It's part of the game. It's part of the sport. You should know how to change your weights. Singles here, still using the Kiefer snatch where I'm just yanking that crap off the ground, locking out. Again, shoulder fatigue mitigation is what you're looking to do here. So you just get the bar overhead. You don't want to spend a lot of time up there because that's tension on the shoulders. It's tension on the triceps. Now, here we go. This is the big change for me right here. I sit. I'm on all fours. I'm bowing down to the wall right here. Rather than kicking up the way you would conventionally see it, I put my thumbs on the line so you can see it right there. That's why I got the tape line, right? The handy cam. And I knock out a set larger, much larger than I had. And here's a good point for me to tell you. This is my third time doing this. And I remembered something about myself because remember, I don't work out all that much. But when I did work out all the time, I knew that if I were doing handstand push-ups, you hear everyone say, do singles, break it up from the beginning, don't reach failure. That ain't the way that I roll. So I open up with a set of 14 right there. And when I was in the garage, the Dolomer mat was set up at a way where it was long ways because when you're doing wall walks, you would think you don't want to go up in elevation. But what's harder? You ask me. Your hands are already going up and down as if you're walking. It's easy for you to elevate your hand a little bit further than it is for someone like myself to not be able to utilize the entire space that is the mat. So see where my hands are? My thumb is touching the blue line. That's what the camera is there for, so you can see that I'm doing it on both sides. It's on the corner, which is 100% within the rules. I'll put up the little thing if you want to see it. But when you've got the mat the long way so that you can do the wall walks, it doesn't allow you to do this because your hands are hanging off the side, at which rate it would make it the elevated surface, so most of your hand would be lower than where your head is making contact. That would not count. And the right side, we talked about how Alexis is dealing with a bit of a shoulder tweak. She kicks up. She kicks up from the top. And another thing you've got to think about when you kick up from the top like that, rather than the way that I had done it, where you're kicking up from all fours and just kind of throwing yourself up the wall, is that when you go into the wall, when you go out of the wall right there, you're kind of doing a lateral raise. And if you've ever done any bodybuilding, you know that lateral raises blow your shoulders up something fierce. Anything with 15s or 20s or 25s, do a set of 10 to 15 with those, and it's going to be tough. And if we're trying to save the shoulders, you do not want to be doing any sort of extra shoulder work. So think about it. When you are kicking up or letting yourself off the wall, you're really controlling your body through space in the domain that would be a raise with a dumbbell, lateral raise, side raise. In any way, they're used to build and stress the shoulder. So why would you do that if you can just do what I was doing and kick up from all fours? There's no rule against it. On the left, into the 185 bar, which I did not even get to on the freaking Sevon podcast, the live show. I got my butt handed to me, and now I'm there much sooner because I remembered the way that I work the best, which is if I open up with a massive set, no matter what, the second set is going to be harder. As I said, with the shuttle walk workout, this might not work for everybody. You might be somebody who has a really good shoulder battery and you just go 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and do 10 sets of 2, and then you're done. However, in my house, in my world, the way my body works, I opened up with 14, took that big rest, and then if I recall, I think I went 4-2 or something like that. I don't really know. I was too busy talking to count, and I don't even remember. But that's the way that I operate. So 3 sets with long rest, trying to get as many out of the way as possible. And even when I did this the second time, I think I opened up with 10. But that second set is just as hard as it would have been no matter what. It was still 10-4. And then instead of being from wherever at 14-4, I was 6 reps away instead of 2 reps away. So I needed an extra set, which wasted time, which did not allow me to do as well on my second attempt, where I didn't even get to the third set of double unders than I'm going to be doing on my third attempt. And Alexis's win right here is that she's able to be doing handstand push-ups. She's not been able to work out for quite some time. She's had a little bit, and I think I no-repped her here. I don't think I did. I know I did. There was 2 separate no-reps in here. And I think she actually came off the wall at some point in the middle of her 8th or 9th rep and just comes down. She goes, that one didn't count. And I go, yeah, I know. All right, good call. Alexis gets it. And she'll always say that I'm stricter than you are, which is, people have been curious about the woman behind the no reps. Like, she's strict as can be, as strict as you could imagine on a lot of things. She's good for it. Look at her. She's just chilling there. And I've said her face, I wonder if I'll zoom in here. Her face is as red as that shirt. It's a cool burgundy. So proud of her for doing that. She's happy she had done it. We did some core work afterwards. She's kind of working with what she can. Over on the left, this is my only intention on this entire workout, was to be able to get to this position. I want to get to that final bar. I wouldn't be doing this a third time, not being able to put workouts in, not being able to move on to the quarterfinals, and just, why do we do this? What's the point? Well, I just wanted to prove to myself that I could get to that final bar. over in Street Park, and I was talking to Hooli, and he was going to do it a freaking third time. The second time, he had gotten to the 225 bar, and he started to massacre it. And I looked at it, and I go, "You're going to do it again, aren't you?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm going to do it again." And it's something that I talked about, this workout not being any sort of a burner. There's something missing in the open this year, and it was that one that's just going to leave you on the floor thinking, I never want to do that again, and then you might not even do it again. This one, it almost makes you want to do it again because you know you can do better. I can break it up more. I can mitigate the shoulder fatigue, which is what I was doing right here. You can do things such as start at all fours, and you can maximize your potential on this workout, which is what I think I was doing. And you can see that hitting the standards pretty well. If you have any issues with my right elbow, you can go screw yourself because that's a locked out position on that right elbow. It's the one that was surgically repaired. The left one hyperextends a little bit. My scores aren't going into a competition. This is for your knowledge, and this is for my sanity. I want to get to that 225 barbell, and I think that right around here is where I fail a rep. But there's only so much you can do once you hit true shoulder failure. If you ask me, they look pretty freaking good. And the right elbow does not look to be, there's the one. And that was the 20th rep. And then I just sit there. And if I could have hit that, who knows what would have happened with the rest of the workout. But it wasn't too long of a break. Thumbs are on the line. Everything's overhead. And this is what I'm talking about. If you come down like this, believe it or not, there's a little bit of an extra bit that you're using your shoulders to kick off the wall like that. So when I'm coming down on those other handstand push-ups, I basically lock out the elbows, hit the extended body position where everything is in alignment and your hips are not sitting on the wall, and then you fall to your death. You're on all fours and you're just recovering. You kind of ball up a little bit and you put your arms on your thighs and you just let your shoulders rest. You're just, I don't know, you're trying to do everything you can to release your body from having the weight of your arms sitting on your shoulders, on your delts. Let's freaking go. You pick that thing up, bro. Pick it up. I actually thought I had it. It felt much later than I thought it did. And I only had 3 seconds there to hit that lift. So as long as you started the bar before the clock had expired, you were good to go. If I could have thrown the belt on, maybe that goes a little bit better because I had the belt on the 185ers. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I go from using a belt to not using a belt, everything feels out of place. But I hope you learned something from that. Your name of the game should be figure out where your hands go, start from all fours, come down, fall to your death, and maximize your shoulder positions, mitigate fatigue, have a good repeat. Andrew Hiller out.